By 1994, Mario had already dominated the Nintendo Entertainment System with Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3, and on the Super Nintendo he had Super Mario World, all of which sold extremely well and have been deemed some of the greatest games of all time. With Mario at the forefront of the NES and the SNES, other games came along, but few met the same success as Mario and his titles. One of these games was Metroid. Metroid brought a completely new concept to video gaming. It allowed the player to freely explore wherever they wanted, and the places they couldn't go could be unlocked in a different way. This was truly the first of its kind. Now, after the success of Metroid, Samus Aran, the main character, lay dormant from the world of console gaming. There was in fact a second Metroid game, but it was on the Game Boy. So many console gamers were alienated from the next great Metroid title. It wasn't until April 18th, 1994, that American gamers would get another taste of Metroid. This was in the form of Super Metroid, the only Metroid game on the Super Nintendo. In terms of story, this game holds a little bit of it in the beginning of the game, but as you play, you'll most likely forget the story. But for those of you who want to know, Super Metroid takes place directly after the events of the second Metroid on the Game Boy. It's even referenced in the opening cutscene. A Metroid larva attached itself to Samus, who it thought was its mother. Samus then brings the larva to the space colony to be studied. After she leaves, however, she receives a distress signal from the space colony. Samus returns only to find every scientist dead and the baby Metroid gone. Eventually, Samus fights Ridley, a boss in the NES Metroid game, but Ridley ultimately gets away with the baby Metroid, leaving Samus alone to escape the space colony before it explodes. After this, she follows Ridley to planet Zebes, which was the setting of the NES Metroid. From here, the story sort of pauses, allowing you, the player, to explore the massive world that is planet Zebes, which in a Metroid game is how it should be. A few gameplay mechanics that have been changed from the original Metroid is the benefit of being able to carry more than one beam upgrade. A beam upgrade is exactly how it sounds. In the beginning, Samus only fires little bullets with her arm cannon, but soon after collecting different upgrades, she can fire different types of beams, like a spazer beam, which is like a triple shot. Another thing that has been changed from the original is that you have a map. Now this sounds sort of weird because most, if not all, games these days come with a map in-game. But the original Metroid did not have a map system to show where you've been and where you have left to go. Super Metroid's map is great at showing you everything you want to know. It shows you where you have and haven't been, and where the save rooms are. These save rooms were new to the Metroid series as of the second game, and in this game, they're a godsend. Now in terms of graphics, Super Metroid looks very good. I believe it's aged very well considering this year it's 20 years old. Everything is dark and dreary and certainly has an alien-like vibe to it. The sound and music are both very nice, and I like how in certain points of the game there's no music at all, which certainly helps develop a mood and makes me anxious for what's to come. It's hard to think of things that I don't like about Super Metroid. Well, if you aren't a fan of very open-ended games with little to no indication of where to go, then you should probably avoid this game. But if you enjoy exploring a massive and labyrinth-like planet without a good indication of where to go, then you should feel right at home with Super Metroid. Released on April 18th, 1994, this is Super Metroid, a very exploration-based video game with tons of upgrades, great sound, fantastic music, and graphics that I think have aged very well. Although this is the third game in the Metroid series, I think that this would be the first game a newcomer should play. It perfectly exemplifies what a great Metroid game is. The first game has a bit of a learning curve, and just little quirks about it that put it below this game. A game that certainly belongs on a list of greatest SNES games of all time, and it's 20 years old this year. They grow up so fast.